And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We appreciate your patience this morning as we got Papa Joe set and ready to go here on the broadcast. I am so thankful and grateful to be here with you inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You'll find them open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and you can get a sneak peek of all they have to offer. Buying and leasing, new and used vehicles are all on GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe with each and every single one of you. On YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So wherever you are, we're happy to be there with you. This morning, I'm sitting here at a loss for words in many ways. As we get set to have Papa Joe here on the broadcast, and he'll be talking with us inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Popping, we'll be discussing Major League Baseball, 140 games in, the wild card race. We'll be looking back at our college football Week 2 picks. We'll be making our picks for Week 3. We'll be looking back at our NFL Week 1 picks. We'll be making our picks for Week 2. And we will also be moving forward into our thoughts on the Jaguars. So, to be here this morning, and I just got a message right on time. I guess the devil's alive and well. To see people, as we bring Papa Joe in, celebrating the death of someone, saying, well, I'm not happy he died, but... they told me a long time ago, when you say I'm sorry and you put a comma and you say but, it negates everything before it. I'm sorry, but. Once you say but, everything you said before but is gone. It's erased. There was a reporter on the news yesterday that was claiming that he deserved to die or that he earned the right to die or whatever it may be. I just got a message. There's friends writing in. There's coaches that I know. There's people that are writing to me as I write about a man who believes in God. And I'm getting messages back to myself, attacking me, attacking what I've said, attacking what I feel. So I'm going to read something that I wrote. And I hope that I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but I really hope that I am. And I'm going to address a lot of things after that, but this is what I wrote last night. Trying to find the words as a fellow broadcaster who talks about God and believes in freedom of speech. I don't understand this world. Someone was killed today who had people scream at him, tell him he wasn't welcome, and tried to silence him. And who in this world wants to be screamed at, feel unwelcome, or be silenced? Hypocrisy will not win. Violence will not win. Suppression will not win. Charlie Kirk spoke about God. We read about martyrs in the Bible. People who believe in God and stand up for their faith and are killed while doing it. How do we have this happen over 2,000 years later? How does this happen at all? Freedom of speech was shot and killed today. Anyone happy for that needs to remember the day they told the world they no longer wanted to be free. God, I love you. And I will never be happy with the death of anyone, whether they agree with me or not. Charlie made a life of having difficult conversations most people are too afraid to have. Of standing up for what he believes in, no matter how many stand against him. He defended God. May God welcome you home, Charlie, and may he and your loved ones in moving for, and may he aid your loved ones in moving forward with love, faith, hope, justice, kindness, peace, and truth. And may we never, ever live in fear of praising and loving God. Thank you for speaking up when others were too afraid to talk. I pray this helps all to speak up for God, who is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, together as one. Philippians chapter 2, verses 10 and 11. Quote, so that at the name of Jesus every knee should bow, in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. End quote. Any thoughts, PJ?
Well, I'm shocked. I mean, I was just getting ready to do a little research on my coins that I have, and Mary sent me a text saying that Mr. Kirk had been murdered. And in my opinion, it may have been a murder, but first it was an assassination. That's what bothers me. And also, today is 9/11. So why would the rest of the world always think about death when something like this happens to a fine young man and for the 9/11? I don't get it. And I'm long in the tooth. I go back a long ways with assassinations and murders. It's not right. It's certainly not Christian. And I started, after I heard about Mr. Kirk, I started saying a rosary right then and there. I got done with it. I cried a little bit, and that was it.
I'm not going to address I'm just not going to give any more weight to the people that have celebrated his death. Should I sit here and remind them that he has a wife and children? Should I sit here and remind you that he's a father, that he's a son, that he's a friend? Should I sit here and remind you that he has a soul and a heartbeat? Should I sit here and remind you that he, like you, is supposed to have the right to speak his mind? Now, right after I found out about his death, a few hours, well, not even, maybe an hour or so after, a couple hours after, I had to go and do a live show out in public, sitting on the patio right there by the street. You know, and it made me stop and think to myself, when I'm going and doing a show, I'm thinking about all the mechanics of it. I'm thinking about, do I have everything I need? Let me make sure I get there on time. Let me make sure that, you know, I have all my equipment, that I have everything packed up. Then I got to set it up. Let's make sure I have power. Let's make sure the internet's going to be working okay. I'm thinking about all these things that have nothing to do with anything like that. It's just, it's time number, 1,000 whatever that I'm setting up a show. And I'm not even thinking about any of these other things. You know, my dad rarely cries. My dad cried yesterday. You know, and I asked him why, and he said he was just sad. Like you said, you cried. He was just sad. He was sad that some young kid died. And, I'm getting messages of people making this black versus white, right versus left, Republicans versus Democrats. And I'm like, dude, somebody died speaking their mind. Freedom of speech. If you support that, you support Hitler. If you support that, you support Nazism. If you support that, you support Mussolini. If you support that, you support that America should have never been a country. I mean, the common sense is undefeated. And I'm sitting here today saying, when I turn this mic on in the morning, I'm not thinking, oh, I'm going to get shot because I have an opinion that's different than yours, because I believe in things that you don't believe in. And yes, I believe in the Almighty God. And yesterday, when I did a show yesterday and I talked about God and my belief in God, I could feel the room. I could feel the silence. I could feel some people uncomfortable when I simply talked about believing in God. Do I want to live in an America where I talk about God and people get weird? No. But that's the world we live in today. The devil's alive and well. But I'm here to tell you that God is too. And if you believe in the devil, guess what? You believe in God, because God created Lucifer and Lucifer decided to become the devil. So the crazy thing about life is if you believe in evil and you believe in the devil and you believe in the other side, you also believe in the creator, because you can't believe in what was manufactured and not the manufacturer. So to me, God exists. He sits on the throne. I do it for him. I will do it for him forever. Do I think the end of the world is coming? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I think it's coming today, tomorrow, in an hour. And there's other times where I feel like it's a long ways away. But whenever it's coming, I'm sick and tired of having to read messages of people. If you can send me a hateful message as a response to the death of someone who was assassinated, that's an assassination. Okay, John F. Kennedy, are you happy about it? Abraham Lincoln, are you happy about it? You know, I mean, if Kamala Harris was shot at and it skimmed her ear, I would have been so outraged as when it happened to Donald Trump. Because there's nobody that should be running for office that should be afraid that they're going to die because of what they believe in. So I live on a side of, I'm right there in the middle. I don't want Kamala to get shot. I don't want Donald to get shot. I don't want black to get shot. I don't want white to get shot. I don't want blue, brown, purple, pink to get shot any more than I want any other color to get shot. I'm so sick and tired of people being so political, so magnetic about everything. It's got to be over here. It's got to be over there. God loves us all. We all matter. Nobody matters more than the other person. At all. You do not matter if you have more money, if you have more power, if you have more prestige, if you have a title. No one matters more than another person. You don't go to heaven with your title. You don't go to heaven with money. You don't go to heaven with social media followers. You go to heaven with your soul. That's all you got. That is the only thing that you have. Your soul, that's how you get in or you don't get in. Your soul, how you treated people. God downloads that thing. You look at it. And he makes a decision, not you. And somebody yesterday made a decision to send somebody to heaven a hell of a lot earlier than he should have been. So if people want to sit here and pick apart his words and change his words around and manipulate him and hate him because of his color and hate him because he believes in God and hate him because of this and that, if you woke up this morning and you're not outraged at the fact that freedom of speech was shot yesterday, then I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to know you. I don't want you to listen to the show. I don't want you to watch this show. I don't want to be friends with you. I don't want to be associated with you. I will pray for you. But I would never, Republican, Democrat, black, white, blue, brown, believes in God, doesn't. If someone is shot and killed, sitting, talking about something they believe in, I'm going to be outraged. If you can look at this man and go, well, I didn't like what he believed in. I didn't like what he talked about. So I'm happy he died. Bop, 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 bop. Like, if that's how you are, then may God have mercy on your soul. Because anyone that celebrates the death of somebody, I do not want to be in the presence of that person. I would celebrate the death of no one. I've told people a million times, there are people that I do not agree with, but if they were bleeding and I walked by them and somebody had beaten them up for their beliefs and them and I are total opposite, I would go there, I would get them a towel, I'd wipe the blood off their face, I'd hold them while they cried, I'd bring them to the hospital, and I'd sit there and I'd pray with them. I don't care what you believe in. I care about the fact that you are a good person and that you do good things. And if you and I are different, then we're different. But Jesus Christ sat with people that didn't agree with him. Jesus Christ died for people that wanted him to die. He gave up his life for people that were cheering. So if I follow Jesus Christ, that means I have to be in rooms with people I don't agree with. I have to be in places with people that may not like me. And I will never, ever, ever be proud of the death of somebody, happy of the death of somebody. It is the anniversary of 9/11, and we walked into this thing having an innocent woman murdered, having an innocent man murdered, And now we go into 9/11 where we said we would never forget, and we were the most united that we had been in decades, and now we've already forgotten because we walked into 9/11 screaming, ranting, and raving like how much we don't care. How does a woman die? How does no one help her? How does a man get shot in the neck sitting with a microphone under a tent having a conversation? Do you know how many times I've sat in public having a conversation with a microphone? To see that somebody can get shot just sitting there doing that? What if it was at the state fair? Would you care then? I have no words for this right now. I have nothing. I have nothing that's going to suffice the reality that this is wrong on so many levels. And the fact that people are now trying to justify his assassination. Would you justify JFK's assassination? Would you justify Abraham Lincoln's assassination? Would you justify Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination? Then shut up. Sometimes freedom of speech means knowing when not to say something stupid. And freedom of speech may have been shot and killed yesterday, but we're going to resurrect it today. We're not going to stop speaking. We're not going to stop talking about God. I have treated everyone equally, and there's not a dang person on this planet that can tell me opposite. So if you're mad that I'm upset that someone was assassinated yesterday, then check your own conscience, look at your own soul, and stop talking to me about it. I have never treated anybody like that they don't have the love and respect of God. I've never treated anybody that way. And Charlie had so many conversations that people would literally pee themselves before they had those conversations. He talked to people that hated him right to his face, screamed at him. And he sat there and he said, I'll sit here and I'll have a conversation and I'm not going to yell and I'm not going to swear. We're just going to talk. A man was shot and killed for being himself and believing in God. And if you find no fault in that, no wrong in that, I pray. And Charlie, may you be in heaven. May you've been welcomed by the wonderful open arms of God. May your wife and your children be okay. And I just pray that America stops being a country where we only mourn the people that agree with us. That's what I'll say, PJ.
Well said, Daniel. You're wise beyond your years sometimes. Anyway, you got a show to do. We got a show to do.
Yes, we do. So let's jump into baseball. We're 140 plus games in. We're in a place right now where we are getting closer and closer. Those of you that know baseball know that there's only 162 opportunities here to try and figure out who's going to go where. And PJ is going to bring us through the standings and let us know where each of these 6 divisions are. 3 in the American, 3 in the National. He'll let us know who's in the running when we look at Cy Young and as well as the Cy Young Award, as well as what's going on in the world of MVP. And then we'll take a look at the wild card and see if it has stayed the same or changed since the last time we spoke. PJ, take it away.
Okay. Well, let's start with the American League. If you've been watching baseball the last couple of weeks, we know the Blue Jays are kicking butt. The Yankees are struggling. They're 3 behind. Boston's 3 behind. I look for both of these teams to make the wild card. Especially the Red Sox have come a long way from almost being in the last place. So kudos to them. They got a hell of a pitcher here at Crochet. So if he takes them out, it's almost a certain win. Let's go to the Central. The Tigers are running away with things. Nothing's happening in this division that I like, because I like the Royals, and the Royals are 10 games behind the Tigers. Hey, the Royals were 4-6 last week. The Tigers are 5-5. You're not going to make up any room, Bobby Witt and the boys. You got to do better. American League West, the Astros and the Mariners are going to go down to the last weekend. Both of these teams will make the playoffs. And in my opinion, the MVP is coming from this pairing right here, and that's Cal Raleigh from Seattle. Sometimes one person, one player can will a team to win and carry on, and that's Cal Raleigh. His average is not what it should be, but boy, is he clutch. Hitting home runs, RBIs, it's remarkable to see. I love it. So kudos to him. Nationally, we got the Phillies. Daniel, the Mets are invisible. The Phillies are killing them. They're 7-3 the last 10 games. The Mets 3-7. The Phillies have a 10-game lead. Folks, as they say in Boston, the fat lady's about ready to sing, and the Phillies are going to start singing. National League Central, the Brewers and the Cubs are going back and forth. The Cubs are struggling a little bit. The Brewers, so, I look at things every 10 games. It gives me a good barometer. If you're 7-3 and your opponent's 3-7, you've lost a couple games in the win column already. So you got to look at that. In the Central, in the West, the Dodgers are reasserted themselves. Padres are second. I think the Padres make the playoff with a 79-67 record. Like it a lot. And just let me go through some things here that I think are important. While we're talking about baseball, and what's more important is the end of the season. As I mentioned earlier, Cal Raleigh has 53 homers and 113 RBIs, single-handedly pulling the Seattle from the depths. If one person can carry a team and be this good, he should be the most valuable player. And frankly, Aaron Judge has faltered in the last 2 months, and Raleigh should be a shoo-in for American League MVP. Aaron Judge is at 44 homers, 98 RBIs. The only good thing that Aaron is doing is hitting 321, which is leading the league. Nick Kurtz, one of those kids from athletics, is just killing it too. 30 homers, 74 RBIs, hitting 302. Look at this he's a rookie, along with Jacob Wilson. Both of those guys are going to be vying for the Rookie of the Year. If Kurtz is doing this as a rookie, he's going to be able to be a Triple Crown prospect in the next couple of years, hitting homers, RBIs, and average. Very hard to do. George Springer from the is hitting 28 homers, 73 RBIs. He's also hitting right around 300. And Bo Bichette, one of my favorite players from Toronto, is 18 homers, 94 RBIs. He's hitting 311. And that's right behind Aaron Judge. Now, you've heard me say that the Yankees need some position help. And you also heard me last week say, I think there's going to be a major push over the holidays to get Bo Bichette to play shortstop for the Yankees for the next 10 years. So don't be surprised if you hear that. You hear it in a hot stove league. In the National League, got Kyle Schwarber, 50 homers, 123 RBIs. I watched the Mets the last couple of days with the Mets and the Phillies. Daniel, the Mets can't measure up to the Phillies. The Phillies are too good. They got too good pitching. Their lineup is solid. They don't have any weak links. They're going to run away with this division. And frankly, they're going to be the favorite in the National League to win the World Series. Not the Dodgers, the Phillies. We got Shohei Ohtani hitting 48 homers, 91 RBIs. His batting average has dropped below 280, not the customary 300 that he's used to. He hasn't produced the way he should be. However, he is pitching. So the Dodgers have got to really think this through carefully. Don't blow this guy's arm up. Take your time. You're going to make the playoffs. Get him ready for the playoffs. Pete Alonso from the Mets is 33 homers, 113 RBIs. Another player, lukewarm favorite for the MVP. If the Mets were winning more, he probably could be the favorite, but not now. Trey Turner from Phillies, 15 homers, 69 RBIs. He's leading the league with a 305 average. Now let me say something now about the National League. Trey Turner is the only player that's hitting above 300. That's pitiful. Why is that? because the National League typically has better pitching. So Trey Turner, now he's hurt. I think he's going to be on a 10-day IR. So if he comes back, he should be able to hang in there and win his batting title. We talked about pitching. You got 4 really outstanding pitchers in the American League, and all of them are eligible to be a Cy Young Award winner. Garrett Crochet, 15-5, 2.57 ERA, nasty. Tarek Skubal, 13-4, 2.10 ERA in the Tigers. He's just as nasty. You got Carlos Rodon from the Yankees, 16-8, 3.11 ERA. And then another Yankee, Max Fried, who is 16-5 with a 3.02 ERA. Now, if I were the pundits out there voting for these guys, you can't pull these guys apart. All 4 of them are exceptional. They have excellent records, good ERAs, and a lot of strikeouts. In the National League, there's only one player, actually 2 players. Paul Skeets from the Pirates. He's 10-9 with a 1.92 ERA. He pitched last night, pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 hits, no runs. The Pirates lost, and that's the story of his game, his season. He may very well be the Cy Young Award winner in the National League with a losing record. Amazing. However, there's one other pitcher that's just as good, and that's Yamamoto from the Dodgers. Now, I watched last week, or the end of last week, I watched the Dodgers, and Yamamoto was pitching. I picked him up after the 4th inning. Yamamoto is another one of these Japanese players that comes from across the pond with. He has so many skills; it's remarkable. He's a much better pitcher than Ohtani. I saw Yamamoto throw 5 different pitches for strikes in different speeds in different locations. He was unhittable. Then the kid from Baltimore, the Holiday kid, 8 2/3 innings. He needed 1 more out, and the kid went yard on him. So Dave Roberts took the kid out, and everyone gave him a standing ovation. The very next night, Tyler Glasnow from the Dodgers is pitching a no-hitter. After 8 innings, the Dodgers won that game. The Yamamoto game, they lost. So you've got some excellent pitching there. It's great to see this time of year. This frame of the cream rises to the top. The only other pitcher I'd like to talk about is unfortunately on the IR.
Yeah.
And that's Zach Wheeler of the Phillies. Wheeler is 7-5 with a microscopic ERA 2. However, he's hurt. Now, I'm not sure that the pundits out there are going to allow this player to win the Cy Young Award winner when he's hurt. Matter of fact, he may not come back to the middle of next year. This is that drought. That's unbelievable, Paul. The Tommy John surgery. No one wants to hear about the Tommy John surgery anymore. Forget about it. But that's who he has. So I'm not sure. This may be a record of some sort. He may be the only pitcher that wins a Cy Young Award that can't pitch next year. Remarkable. Daniel, we go to the wild card.
Yeah. Let's stop there for just a second. So just a moment here as PJ gives us what's going on in the world of Major League Baseball and where we are at here in Major League Baseball, and letting us know who is where and how these races are looking and how things are going here. And Mike is on here. Of course, he's cheering for his Blue Jays and excited about his Blue Jays and everything that's going on with the Jays. Mike, we've talked about the Blue Jays and given some spotlight to them and the work that they have done this season. And if you go all the way back in my history, the first game that I ever saw was a Toronto Blue Jays game on site for it. It was at the Sky Dome, and it was against the Minnesota Twins. And that was a game where Joe Carter and the Blue Jays, I believe, beat the Twins 11-2 in that matchup. So as we are here and we take a look at what's going on with this season and the Blue Jays continue to push forward as PJ said, looking at the wild card and where we're at in this wild card world, the Major League Baseball wild card is starting to get even more firm to this, as we are, like I said, around 140 games in here. Some teams are at 146, and there's been some movement as where, as far as seeding. Some teams are still leading their divisions, but the seeding in the American League as well as the seeding in the National League, we're seeing some shifts around here. And with that being said, PJ, let us know about the American League and the National League wild card and where we sit.
Okay, let's take a look at the American League. The first three teams, the Tigers, Toronto, and Houston. Houston is vacillating back and forth with Texas. Those three teams are in the lead. However, the wild card has several teams that are still ready to go. The Yankees are 2.5 up. They should be able to hang in there. They got Rodin and Fried pitching really well. They should be able, even with a 500 record, they should be able to squeak in. Boston, got to give them all the credit in the world. They came from the bottom to be 2.5 up. And now the Seattle Mariners, who are really playing as well as anyone, along with Cal Raleigh leading them. Those three teams look like they're going to edge in. However, underneath those guys, you got the Texas Rangers behind Houston. They're only 1.5 games out. Then you got Cleveland and Kansas City behind Detroit in the Central Division. They all have a mathematical chance of being there. When you go to the National League, you got the Brewers, the Phillies, and the Dodgers are leading their divisions. No problems there. You got the Cubs that are 7 games up and leading the wild card divisions. Should a shoe in for the playoffs, as well as San Diego 3 games up. Now, your Mets, Daniel. Your Mets have a 76-70 record, and they're even money to try to get the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got to play better, Daniel. They have to play better. They have to pitch better. They have to feel better. They have to hit better. They have to run better. No, they need to earn this, buddy. You need to earn this. There's a couple teams behind them that are still eligible. Cincinnati's 2 games behind. The Giants are 2 games behind. And Arizona is 3.5 games behind. Going to be hard. Going to be hard to pick up some slack, but that's how we see it. And I think next week's program, we'll probably be able to eliminate some of the also-rans from the results.
Well,
what did you pick up?
I'm gonna show this here right now. I have 3 different cards that are PS.
Better not be Jameis Winston either.
Listen, no, all the Jameis Winston cards are with you. So
no.
So 3 PSA 10s, perfect graded cards, and this one is a 2022 Topps Pro debut, autographed of the man who will help the Diamondbacks get that last wild card spot. Corbin Carroll, baby. Look at that autograph.
All right. He's a hell of a player.
PSA 10 of Corbin Carroll. The Diamondbacks are not out of it. They are within striking distance. And so I'm just going to do that, put my fan hat on for a second, throw my fan hat off, and let's be real about it. The Mets have struggled. They've had some really good moments. They've had some really rough moments, but so have the Padres. The Padres and the Mets 3-7 in their last 10 games. The Arizona Diamondbacks are 5-5. They got to be a little bit better because the Giants are 7-3. So this race to see who's going to get in with the Dodgers is still up for grabs here. It could be the Dodgers, Padres, and Giants, the Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks, or what if the Padres dip down and continue to lose, and is it the Dodgers, Giants, Diamondbacks, or is it the Giants or the Diamondbacks? Will 2 or 3 teams get in from the NL West, which has been a very difficult division this season? If the Dodgers weren't in this division, then does it stand to and the Dodgers only have 82 wins. I mean, you look at Arizona's got 73, the Giants have 74, the Padres have 79. So that gap has been shortened here. They've been able to do enough to have some separation. But will we live in a world where we're going to see, 2, if not 3 teams make it? Nobody's really safe right now because the Dodgers are third. The Dodgers will have to play in that wild card round if it started today. The top team, the Milwaukee Brewers, are 4-6 in their last 10 games, but they've had enough over recent history this season to be still in first place with 89 wins. And the Philadelphia Phillies, 7-3, are the opposite of the Mets, who are 3-7. So the Phillies are holding strong. If the playoffs started today, the Brewers and the Phillies would not have to play the first round, 1 and 2, move on. The Dodgers would have to play the Cubs. The Dodgers would have to play the Mets, and then the Cubs would have to play the Padres. But the Reds have been hanging right there, and the Giants are now up there. The Diamondbacks are now up there. They've gotten closer. They have edged themselves closer to this. So if these teams that have been in it and that have maybe shifted certain positions but stayed in the wild card race, if they continue to lose and the Reds, the Giants, and or the Diamondbacks can find a way to get on the winning side of things, and unlike the Diamondbacks going 5-5 in the last 10, if they could turn that into 7-3, now all of a sudden, you look at them and say, if they were 7-3 right now instead of 5-5, now the Diamondbacks are sitting a game and a half out of things. So the closer that we get to the end of the regular season, these wonderful races are getting more and more exciting to watch. Just like in the American League with the Tigers now above the Blue Jays. Now the Tigers are going to lead this thing if it started today, but they're barely above the Blue Jays. They're 84-62. The Blue Jays are 83-62, like you were talking about, and the Astros are right there. The Yankees have the 4th spot, not the last spot. They've jumped the Boston Red Sox, and now the Mariners and the Rangers are once again fighting in that division. There's something about the West, PJ, because the American League West and the National League West are both in a situation right now where they're going to probably send 2 teams to the playoffs, but they may send 3 of their 4 teams. 75% of their division may go. And that Mariners, Astros, Rangers world, they're fighting every single year of these last few years. And with the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Dodgers, all but the Rockies are fighting in the West. These 2 West divisions in both leagues are trying to shake things up, and they're trying to account for 50% of the playoffs in their respective sides.
It's true. The only problem with that scenario, and it's one that sort of equates everything, is they got to keep playing each other. They keep beating each other, losing each other back and forth. It's like the Evtide. The Giants plays the Dodgers play the Padres, and so on. And the Arizona plays whoever, and they wind up beating each other. I do have to say something about what the Dodgers are going through. They had a little bit of a bump there a couple of weeks ago. They're starting to pick it back up again.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have an excellent pitching staff, as we've talked about all year. They got Yamamoto, of course. They got Blake Snell. They got Clayton Kershaw, risen from the dead. 11-2 with a 3.0 ERA, amazing. They just have excellent pitching, and I think that pitching, you hear this from me all the time. Pitching and defense is going to win the pennants.
Yeah.
Glasgow's another one in there. The Dodgers, Ohtani is pitching. Now, you heard me say this too the last couple of weeks. Dave Roberts, hey, don't overuse Ohtani. There's nothing he has to prove. He doesn't have to prove anything now. He came back from a serious injury. He's pitching well. Don't overuse him. Settle him down. Have a lot of long toss in the outfield. That's all he's going to do. And get him ready for the playoffs. The Dodgers in a short series, 3 out of 5, will be able to blast anyone with their pitching. The hitting, besides Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Ohtani, the rest of the guys are not lighting the house on fire. Smith was hitting in the 330s last month, and now he's below 300. And he's a catcher that catches every game. He's hurt now, and someone else is catching. So it's a man of attrition. If you can get through 162 games, you're a beast.
Well, as was said a long time ago on my show, I think it was Mike Sofka that said it. He said, the best ability is availability. And that is what it comes down to here. You can have your talented team, but do you have a talented, healthy team? And that's in any sport. I talked about the Ravens. I said if the Ravens are healthy, they're one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL on paper. And people say, yeah, that's a big if, because how often have the recent Ravens stayed healthy? So it's the same thing. You look at the Yankees. Now the Yankees have gotten better and they found their way back up, but they have been limping through part of this season, dealing with all the injuries that they've had. And the fact that the Yankees are not only in the playoff push, but that they're the number one wild card team, which will put them in the 4th spot as of right now. Shout out to the Yankees, because they played this entire season without Garrett Cole. Not 50 games, not 20 games, not the last 2 weeks. They have not played a single game this season with their ace in Garrett Cole. So y'all can hate the Yankees or love the Yankees, but you best darn respect the Yankees for doing it without their ace in the hole. And I mean, man, that's been an incredible feat and a great story for what they've been able to do. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When we come back, we'll go from one field to the next. PJ and I will take a look at our college football Week 2 picks. Were we right? Were we wrong? Where did we land? We'll make our picks for Week 3. Then we'll head to the NFL, and we will move forward with that. And that's coming up right after this fast break, so stay with us.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. We understand how hard it is to, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Being ordered a special pellet rifle that's legal to shoot ducks like that.
Here's a message from Renee from Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
Jill has one
It's a
too.
lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K9 Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K9 Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K9 Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K9 Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
And make little bags.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. And, of course, Great Lakes Honda City is there for you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can go and see them Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And, of course, you can get a sneak peek of their inventory of new and used vehicles, buying and leasing, happening at Great Lakes Honda City, and you can go to greatlakeshondacity.com for that sneak peek that I was talking about. So with that being said, let's take a peek at the picks that we had, PJ and I. This is what we had last week. College football picks week 2 of 2025-26. First game that we had up on our board is going to be a game that takes us into the matchup that the Louisville Cardinals had. A preseason prediction for me is that Louisville is going to have themselves a good season inside of the ACC, and in general, I think Louisville will be one of the teams out there that may be vying for some good things this year. I have them in that place of the ACC championship, so don't count them out. Louisville was able to take down James Madison 28-14, doubled the score there, and so Louisville takes that victory and doesn't trip up with a James Madison team that's been pretty good under Bob Chesney, and Bob Chesney almost the head coach of the Syracuse Orange. Now taking a look at Illinois. Illinois defeated Duke 45-19. We both picked the illest of the noise, so PJ and I were right in that one. And as the next matchup comes up, it takes us to SM motherfreaking U and how Rhett Lashley and the crew did. So taking a look at SMU and Baylor went to double overtime, and SMU loses by 3. Now, because it's SMU, I hope they don't, but they might go, oh, well, they don't belong, and look if they lost to Baylor, the Big 12 team. No. It was double overtime, pumpkin. Notre Dame lost to Miami in regulation, and you kept them ranked in the top 10 with a record of 0-1. When's the last time you ever saw a team with no wins get ranked in the top 25, let alone the top 10? So SMU loses. PJ and I got this wrong, but he lost in double overtime. So maybe you should start treating them like a Big Ten team and say it was a quality loss. The next game that we have coming up here, and listen, folks, I got no hate for the Big Ten. I'm just speaking truths. If the ACC was given an unfair advantage when they lose, we'd be talking about it. If the SEC was given an unfair advantage when they lose, which they are, then we talk about it. So the reality of it all is Notre Dame is ranked in the top 10 with 0 wins and a week off. How do you get a bye week in week 2? How do you play Miami and then have a week off when you just started the season? You need a break? That's like you getting a sip of water 3 minutes into a basketball game. Like you need to take a water break. You were gassed after that first kick return. Well, here we go. So we look at the next one here, and the next one up is Oregon. And Oregon defeated Oklahoma State 69-3. 69-3, folks, here. You know, I wonder if Penn State lost a game to Oregon 69-3, if it would be considered a quality loss. Now, looking at the next one we have up here, and I'm trying to understand my writing here for Ole. So, but taking a look back at this one and looking at this matchup that we have here, PJ, I'm trying to understand what I wrote for Ole, so I'll come back to it. Because that
Maybe
one,
it was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, that's what it was. Yes, Ole Miss. Thank you. Because in my brain, I should have just wrote Lane Train. So Ole Miss this morning, that's okay. Needed a little jogging of my memory. That's fine. So Ole Miss in their matchup, going back and looking at how they did here as I'm going through Ole Miss and Kentucky. Ole Miss won the game 30-23 on the road at Kentucky. So they did not succumb to what sometimes Kentucky does, which is play spoiler. Then the next game, Florida played South Florida, and the Go Gators that were ranked 13th in the nation lost at home in Gainesville to the team from Tampa, 18-16, PJ. I'll pause here and get your thoughts. As I got it right, I went with USF. I said I wasn't going to pick against them 2 weeks in a row. So I want to get your thoughts, PJ, here. The Go Gators lost to South Florida. What's your take?
Daniel, it was awful to watch. It was awful to watch. I could tell right away in the first quarter, South Florida was bringing it with both lines. You may have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but if you don't gel together and not play together, you're not going to be able to win games. I do have to say that South Florida was much better than I thought they were. And frankly, they could be one of the better teams in the nation. They brought it. I mean, you can't believe what Florida Field is like, Daniel, in the Swamp. There's 80,000 people, and you can't even think. It's so loud. And these kids blocked it out and beat up a fair Florida team. Not a good Florida team, a fair Florida team. Now, what is Florida looking forward to? LSU, at LSU. Are you kidding me? Florida, what did I say? 6 and 7, 5 and 7. I don't know what they're not going to have a winning record. I'll tell you that. But kudos to South Florida because they were the better team and they played better.
Yeah, and that's the thing is South Florida has now had 2 games back to back against the top 25, and they have defeated both of those teams, and they're responsible for knocking both of those teams out of the top 25. South Florida was unranked. They beat a Boise State team who was ranked 25th in the nation. They blew them out, and so Boise State was knocked out of the rankings. Then they faced a 13th in the country ranked Florida, and Florida did not drop 12 spots. They dropped out of the top 25 after losing to South Florida. So how real is South Florida, PJ, as we know that coming up here, they're going to be playing Miami this week?
Well, they're really going to have to bring it, Daniel, Miami, because they're no slouch either. South Florida's for real, and I saw that, and I realized that when Florida was getting beat at the line of scrimmage, they were in for a long afternoon. And it turned out that when South Florida needed to do something late in the game, they did it. They were in their territory. They drove down the field. They kept throwing passes, little dinky passes, runs. All of a sudden, they got a chip shot for a field goal to beat Florida. The place went silent. If you can imagine 80,000 people being silent. And then they deserve it. They were a good team. Miami better recognize, I'll tell you that. They better recognize.
And so for you, when you take a look at this and you look at how things have gone for South Florida up to this point, there's been the conversation that South Florida doesn't even deserve to be on the field with a Florida team. My rebuttal was obviously they beat them. What are your thoughts on that? Do you, and you're a Florida Gator fan, when somebody says the South Florida doesn't even deserve to step on the same field, what do you say?
Look at the game. If you're a proponent of the game, you got to see where it's being played. And I always look at the line of scrimmage. Now, Florida starts 2 freshman wide receiver, Vernell Brown and Wilson. They're both 6'3", fly. They were both 5 stars. And they played well. They caught a lot of passes. I think between them they caught something like 11 or 12 passes, but no one really broke a long one. South Florida had a remedy against DJ Lagway. Mm-hmm. DJ Lagway, I think the first half completed 13 of 15 passes for just little yards, 5 and 6 yard dumps. He didn't go down the field and complete a good pass because the secondary was too good. South Florida was good, Daniel. I may be the Bull Gator, but South Florida was really, really good.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And under Alex Golish, they have proven themselves time and time again, including playing 2 tough games against Alabama in back-to-back seasons and going up against Nick Saban's Alabama, remember that. So Miami, taking a look at the Miami Hurricanes, we picked them to defeat Bethune-Cookman, your alma mater, and they beat them 45-3. So PJ and I got Miami right, and then Arizona, and we go to that Mississippi State game. Let's go over to the Mississippi State matchup that we have here with Arizona State, Mississippi State. Mississippi State won the game 24-20 in a close one. Arizona State ranked 12th. Mississippi State was unranked, and they played spoiler at home in Mississippi. PJ got that right. I got that wrong. And then we both went with Oklahoma. College game day was in Oklahoma for Michigan at Oklahoma. Michigan ranked 15th. Oklahoma ranked 18th at the time. And Oklahoma defeated Michigan 24-13. I applaud Michigan for the last 2 seasons actually having a non-conference schedule that isn't playing a candy shop, a church, and like a thrift store. But, they have not won these games. They played up against Oklahoma, they lost. They played up against Texas, they lost. And so, but credit to them for at least playing the games. Credit to Ohio State for playing Texas and beating Texas. Penn State has played 2 unranked teams. They'll play another unranked team, and they're ranked 2nd in the country above LSU, which is beyond me. And then Syracuse, we both got this one right. They won in single overtime, 27-20 over UConn. I told y'all that the matchup was going to be difficult because I told y'all that the teams do not, when it comes to the Northeast, they do not like each other. It doesn't matter what conference they're in. If they're in a conference, none of that matters. Northeast teams despise each other. That's reality. They just do. And they played that way, and they played to the bitter end. UConn came to the Dome last year in the second to last game of the season. Syracuse beat them by 7 points, 1 touchdown and an extra point. They came to the Dome this year in the second game of the season instead of the second to last game of the season, and Syracuse beat them by 7 points, 1 touchdown, 1 extra point. So, I mean, these games have been very, very tough. Shout out to Jim Mora Jr., Fran Brown, the head coach of Syracuse, gave the UConn coach a lot of credit after the game and talked about the fact of, how his son loves, he's got kids that love the sport of football, and he looks at the Mora family and what they've done and the success that they've had and said, I hope one day that me and my son can, have that success. So there was a lot of good, a lot of respect that came after this game, and a great game to be played, a great game to be on site, on location for in my home of Syracuse, New York, inside of the Dome to start off the season. And our post-game show, our first ever one at Myers Creek, Inner Harbor, will be back there for pregame this Friday. So Friday tomorrow, for those of you watching live, Friday, September 12th at 5 p.m., Isaac and I will pregame Syracuse Colgate, and then we'll head to the Dome with you as that game kicks off at 7 o'clock. So we'll see you at Syracuse Inner Harbor on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York, at the Myers Creek in the Syracuse Inner Harbor. We'll have some fun with you before we go up to the game. So overall, PJ had 4-1, we're seeing here, 4-2, 5, 6, 7, 8-2. So PJ's out here having a wonderful start to his picks, and I also went 8-2 this week. So I like our records here as PJ and I went 8-2 when it comes to college football week 2. So nothing to cry about or be upset about here. I'll take the college football week 2 picks 8-2 any day of the week. And PJ and I are now going to jump into week 3, and we're going to make some picks for week 3. So let's head to that schedule and take a look at what we got for week 3 inside of FBS football and Division 1A here inside of NCAA football play. Now, there is a game tonight, NC State at Wake Forest. It is a conference game for the ACC, and it is the reclaiming of a rivalry, because with the ACC's schedule that they originally had before they added SMU and Cal and Stanford, their schedule was ending this rivalry of over 100 straight games played between NC State and Wake Forest. Now the rivalry is renewed, and it's going to be in Winston-Salem as Raleigh travels to Winston-Salem for NC State at Wake Forest. PJ, I want to get your thoughts here on who you think is going to win this game. The only game on television here on September 11th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Battle of North Carolina between the Wolfpack and the home Demon Deacons on ESPN. Who wins?
Well, I like North Carolina State's defense. They've showed a lot this year, and I think they go into their enemy turf and win this game on the road.
Yeah, NC State, they're definitely under Dave Doran. They're a dangerous team. I got a lot of respect for him. I built a good relationship with him over time. Also built a good relationship with Dave Clawson, who was on the other side of this matchup for many, many years, but is no longer coaching. And so on this side of it, instead, we have a Wake Forest coach who came from Washington State, and that head coach that they have that I just had the opportunity to speak with for the first time ever, that being the new head coach of the Demon Deacons, Jake Dickert. And so Jake Dickert will have a lot on his hands in this game. These two teams are unranked, yet I feel like this is a marquee matchup. And I want to let everybody know that the distance, before I make my choice here, the distance from Raleigh to Winston-Salem in North Carolina is about an hour and a half. It's an hour and 38 minutes between the two of them. And so we know that there's going to be a lot of people showing up for this game, and I'm going to lean on the side of the veteran of the ACC here. I'm going to pick Dave Doran to get the victory in this with NC State, but I hope it'll be a great game, and I definitely will be watching that game tonight. The games that we have on Friday, PJ, we have Colgate and Syracuse facing off against each other. As I made mention, Syracuse has 2 Friday night games this season. Colgate has not beaten Syracuse since 1950. However, the overall record between these two teams in 68 matchups is 32 wins Syracuse, 31 wins Colgate, and 5 ties back when you could tie. So as much as they haven't won since 1950, the Raiders of Colgate are just 1 win behind the Syracuse Orange. What do you think about Colgate at Syracuse, PJ?
Well, they're going to be 2 wins behind the Orange after this weekend. I like Syracuse by a bunch.
Yeah, Syracuse really's got to show out and show up for this one and show the fans a good time here. Kurt Fitzpatrick, who won at the Division III level with SUNY Cortland, and everything that he's done there is fantastic. And he moved on to Colgate, and so he jumped up here and will have the opportunity to travel just a little bit of ways from where Colgate kicks off themselves to Syracuse, New York. We're excited to see Kurt. We're excited to see the team. I'm always excited to see in-state opportunities for any state, anywhere in the union, and I'm happy to see this game, Colgate at Syracuse. I got the Syracuse winning this game and hopefully having an opportunity to put some of their backups in at some point here, but never underestimate a team that has nothing to lose. I do have Syracuse in the matchup, though. Tickets as low as $3 to go to the game. Parking is parking is $20, and the tickets are $3. So it costs you more to park and walk than it costs you to get in the building, which is absolute insanity. Next game I'm going to go to, PJ, is Oregon at Northwestern. This game is on Saturday, September 13th, noon Eastern time on Fox. Oregon is ranked 4th in the country. After this week, they'll play Penn State, who has played a bunch of unranked teams en route to this, copy and paste from any year. So as Oregon gets ready to face off against Penn State, do they lose on the road to Northwestern?
No, but I'll tell you, if there's one team folks want to watch this year, it's Oregon. I know 3 years ago, I was jumping on their bandwagon because they started to play the game a lot faster than like the SEC teams. Faster on the field and faster up at the line of scrimmage. I watched some of that Oklahoma State game, and Oregon is, frankly, I'm going to say this right now, the 3rd game of the season, I'm going to say that Oregon is the favorite to win a national championship.
Okay.
They are awesome team. Defense is good. Offense is off the charts and fast. Northwestern won't have a chance in this game.
So, I mean, I think this could be a trip-em game, but I'm also going to go with Oregon in this matchup. Now, Oregon, keep in mind, they have gone through that. They had Bo Nix as their quarterback, right? Then they had Dylan Gabriel as their quarterback. Both of those guys are in the NFL right now. Oregon has stayed good and they've stayed on, not only have they stayed good, but they've stayed in the national spotlight. And how many teams can go from one quarterback to another quarterback? I mean, your team goes as your quarterback goes, no matter how many good things you got going. If you don't have a good quarterback, you're probably not winning much. Outside of a Chicago Bears year many years ago with Rex Grossman, where he had a passer rating, I think, of 3, and they made it to the Super Bowl. But Dan Lanning, he's done a great job with the Oregon Ducks, and you got to give him a lot of credit because the work that they have done with consistently having to find a new leader at quarterback says a lot about who they are and what they've done. And shout out to who they have right now and Dante Moore and the work that he's doing after Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. I got the Oregon Ducks, and I'm going to give you one of these, PJ. They're going to win that game. Get the quacker out here right now. We're gonna have some fun.
I like that.
We're gonna have some fun with that. That's one thing that I could do, PJ. I can quack. So let's go to the noon Eastern time game that's on ESPN. And I'm so happy Syracuse is playing on Friday night because I can go home and on YouTube TV, I can watch a bunch of different screens at the same time. The Matrix will be going on in the Tortora household as I'll be watching Oregon Northwestern, and at the same time, I'll be watching Clemson at Georgia Tech. Just was down in Georgia, just went by Georgia Tech Stadium in Atlanta, en route to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Bobby Dodd Stadium is going to be rocking with this game with 12th ranked Clemson and Georgia Tech, who is unranked as of right now. Georgia Tech and Brent Key, in my opinion, are a danger zone this year. Clemson's coming into town. What are your thoughts, PJ, as Clemson somehow got away from Troy after losing a close one to LSU at home? Clemson, Georgia Tech, on the road in Atlanta. What do you got?
Yeah, that Troy game was awful. It doesn't seem like that Clemson's in sync yet. They certainly have the better athletes. And I know they're going on the road here, but Clemson just is too strong. They may not be playing very well so far this year, but they certainly have the team to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if they started asserting themselves, and it starts this week.
So PJ going with Clemson. Clemson has made me very nervous, PJ. I think, I've been saying like this is the season where they remind people who they are, but having to play Georgia Tech in the third week of the season, that to me is a danger zone. That to me is a place you don't want to go. After they have limped their way to 1-1 this season, keep in mind, folks, Clemson, again, losing at home 17-10 against LSU, and barely getting away from Troy at home 27-16. I think that Brent Key and this Georgia Tech team that almost beat Georgia last year, it was 8 overtimes. Georgia Tech, I think, is going to win this game. They're going to squeak by. It's going to be another close matchup. It may be in the 20s. And I got Georgia Tech beating Clemson, and Clemson having 2 losses going into week number 4. Alabama's going to play host at noon Eastern time. I'm going to have a ton of games on at noon. I don't know what I'm going to do after noon with all this high octane that I'm doing here. I'm going to have to take a nap and wake up and get re-energized here. Alabama's going to be hosting Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a team that gets a lot of hype every single year and doesn't really come through with it. Right now they're unranked, but they're going up against number 19th ranked Alabama with Kalen DeBoer. The game is going to be in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and that's on ABC at noon Eastern time this Saturday, PJ. What do you have when Wisconsin goes into Alabama? Does Alabama get the victory, or does the Kalen DeBoer era continue to have moments where Crimson Tide fans are shaking their heads?
Boy, I tell you, the fans are legitimately to be upset. I think there's, other than Billy Napier from Florida, this is another guy that's probably maybe could lose his job at the end of the year. They just, again, talk about teams not being in sync. Alabama doesn't appear to be that way. They just not with it yet. Although Wisconsin is noted from the Big Ten, they're always 3 yards in a cloud of dust, sort of Woody Hayes all kind of football, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Wisconsin's got a shot here if they could control the ball at the line of scrimmage. But Alabama's just got too many good athletes, and somehow I think they pull it out. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think we'll finally find out what type of team Alabama is.
Yeah, and when you take a look at that and Alabama, like you said, we're going to find out who they are. I do agree with you on this one. I think this game is going to show us who this Alabama team is, because if they struggle, then that's going to say a lot about this era. If they lose to Wisconsin, this might be the end of the Kalen DeBoer era very early in Alabama. I'm never going to wish somebody get fired. I'm stating an obvious fact that the SEC does not give a lot of coaches time. The SEC, specifically when it comes to Alabama, definitely does not give you a lot of time. So the SEC's window is usually 3 years max if it's not working. And when it comes to Alabama, it may be less than that. So I think they got to win this game. And I do agree with you that this will help show who they are to a certain extent. Also at noon, this will be on ESPNU. Memphis will take on Troy. Memphis is a team that comes into the American season with a lot of high hopes under Ryan Silverfield. They had success under Justin Fuente. They had success under Mike Norvell, who is now at FSU, and they have had success. It took a little bit more time, but they're having success under Ryan Silverfield. They will go to the road and take on Troy, and that game is going to be in Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy, Alabama, PJ. Does Troy pull off a win after almost beating Clemson, or does Memphis play better against Troy, begging the question, is Memphis better than Clemson, or should Memphis at least be ranked this season?
Well, this is a good opportunity for us to talk about Troy after what they did last week, almost winning that game. If they put any kind of effort forward like last week's, they can win the game, and I think they do. This is a big game for their fans and their conference at home. I think they win the game.
PJ going with Troy in this game. I'm going with this game that's going to, like I say, beg the question of where does Memphis stand if Clemson struggles and Memphis takes care of them handily. I got the Memphis Tigers defeating the Troy Trojans here in this matchup. I do believe that that's how it's going to go down, but I do respect Troy for the work that they've done, and they've played spoiler before, so don't forget about that, folks. There's a game, PJ, that is going on, and no, it's not Villanova against Penn State, but the game I'm going to talk about is Georgia at 10. And folks, please understand something. I've given Penn State their flowers. I've said a ton of positive things about Penn State. I've talked about their fans. I've talked about their arena. I've talked about how electrifying they are, how you can't hear in the stadium. I have given respect to James Franklin repeatedly. All I have said is what anybody should say that covers football on a national scope. And that is Penn State has played Nevada unranked, FIU unranked, and Villanova is an unranked FCS team, not even an FBS team. Where Oregon is playing a tougher schedule, Ohio State's playing a tougher schedule. So within the Big Ten itself, Michigan's playing a tougher schedule. Michigan State's playing a tougher schedule. So Penn State to be ranked 2 in the nation is laughable right now. Now, if they beat Oregon, then okay. Now we're having a conversation. But as of right now, for them to be winning the games that they're winning and playing the teams that they're playing, their non-conference schedule is a laughable schedule in comparison to other teams within their conference and other teams across the nation. With that being said, let's talk about the teams that are actually playing competition that could affect them getting into the college football playoff right now. The game we're about to talk about could have massive implications many weeks from now. The cheapest ticket to go to this game is $358. It's in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's against a team that Syracuse played to within 2 points of for 3 of 4 quarters. Against a team that's used to winning national championships in recent history. Number 6 ranked Georgia is going to Knoxville to face number 15th ranked Tennessee. That game is at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. This game feels like a college football playoff game. This game feels like the SEC title game, potentially. What do you got, PJ?
It's going to be hitting, that's for sure. This is one of the true SEC matchups right here. I think this is a pick'em game. I know probably Tennessee gets the nod because they're playing at home. Georgia, again, hasn't set themselves up yet. We don't know how good Georgia is. I know how good Tennessee is, and I think I like Tennessee in this. Yeah. This is a big upset for me.
And again, give credit where credit's due. Joey Aguilar was the quarterback at Appalachian State, and he comes in and look at the success that he has had at quarterback. Watching him play against Syracuse in real time, on site, on location in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, this dude can play ball. And I think the better, if he continues to play consistently good and not occasionally great, we're talking about a Heisman hopeful in the quarterback in Tennessee, and Joey Aguilar, who went to UCLA for a cup of coffee, never played it down. He played at Appalachian State, and now he is a Tennessee Volunteer. And so the Georgia Bulldogs, they're coming into town. Tough game, right? They've both played unranked teams. They're both 2-0. Someone's going to be 2-1, and somebody's going to be 3-0. And, my initial knee-jerk reaction is to pick Georgia, But when I look on the other side of this thing and I just think about Joey Aguilar, I got to side with him, and I think he's going to be the difference in this game. I mean, I think the Tennessee defense is going to do some good things as well, but I got Joey Aguilar winning this matchup. If it's a low-scoring game, I think it goes to Georgia, but if they can break this thing out, I think Tennessee gets a victory. I'm actually probably going to say Tennessee 20-13, that they squeak it out, and they're the one team that gets to 20, but I'm picking Tennessee in this matchup, but I do agree with you very well, so this could be a pick-em game. The next one we got up, PJ, South Florida, as I said, has not only defeated 2 top 25 teams, they're the reason why those top 25 teams have been knocked out of the top 25, and they're the reason why South Florida went from unranked to the top 20, as they sit at number 18 in the AP poll. In the coaches poll, they got disrespected, and they barely made it in, but whatever. We'll have to talk to the coaches about that. But they're playing Miami on the road in Coral Gables, or Miami Gardens, I should say, pardon me, in Hard Rock Stadium. That game is going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW network. Miami comes into the game after defeating Notre Dame at 27-24 at home and defeating Bethune-Cookman 45-3. So, South Florida, Miami. If South Florida beats Miami and they take down 3 top 25 teams in a row to start the season, South Florida needs to be ranked in the top 10 bare minimum. What are your thoughts, PJ, when South Florida heads south from Tampa to Miami?
Not to belabor the point again, but this will tell us how good South Florida really is if they can play with Miami. Maybe not win, but play with them. I think Carson Beck is really turning around down there. Miami can score anytime they got the ball from anywhere on the field. I like Miami.
Yeah, PJ going with Miami in this game to get the victory. The Miami Hurricanes looking to create some trouble for the Bulls. So PJ going with Miami in this matchup. I think South Florida is definitely... See, the sad thing about this is if South Florida wins, they're going to get national exposure. They're going to be talked about everywhere. If they lose, they're going to be quickly forgotten, in my opinion, by the national media. Because the national media, I don't think, wants to cover South Florida. So if South Florida wins, they'll have to. But if they lose, then they'll quickly forget. And they'll go, oh, Boise State's not that good without Asher Genty. And, Florida Gators, under Billy Napier, they're tough, is on a hot seat. They'll make excuses. If they beat Miami, there's nothing that anybody can say. And PJ, you know what? I'm going to ride the wave. I'm picking South Florida to win in this matchup because if they win, if they win, it's going to be me and Alex Golish, the head coach of South Florida, that picked them to win. So I'm going South Florida up against Miami. And you know what, baby? Let it ride. And these tickets are as low as $40. What type of disgraceful thing is that? Again, oh, they're going to blow them out. I don't need to go. Man, go to the game. $40? There's nothing in Miami that's $40. Parking's not $40. Burgers aren't $40. Heck, you can't get a glass of water in Miami for $40. So go down there to that game and go see South Florida at Miami. The next one we got up, PJ, and it's not Ohio versus Ohio State. The next one that we have up here, I'm going to go to your Gators taking on the number 3 ranked, who should be the number 2 ranked above Penn State because they've had a tougher schedule. LSU Tigers. This game is Saturday night, September 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on AB Motherfreakin' C. These games are under $100 to go to. $91 is the cheapest ticket at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Gators are going from one swamp to another swamp. Do they win this one, or does LSU send Florida packing, and do they put Billy Napier on an even hotter hot seat?
Boy. Oh, geez. You know where my heart is going to be. But as a pundit, I have to look at the stats. Florida may not be as good as everyone thinks they are, and they're not as good as I think they're going to be. However, this is a whole different animal. I mean, they got to play LSU, they got to play Texas, they got to play so many of the best teams. Alabama. It's not going to get any easier for Florida, and it's going to start right here. They don't. Frankly, I'm going to say this, and it's going to hurt me to do it, but I don't think they have a chance this week because LSU's defense is just too strong. Lagway, for all he can do, He's got to look down the field, those two freshman receivers. LSU's going to cover them like a blanket. I got to say LSU, Daniel. I hate to say it, but I got to be true.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think the same thing. I think that LSU is going to get the victory in this game. If and when they do get that victory, they should be ranked number 2 in the nation, unless Ohio State loses to Ohio, which I don't see happening. So LSU should be number 2 in the nation, whatever Penn State does with the FCS's Villanova. LSU with a victory should be number 2 in the country. I do think they get this win in the matchup. The last one I have for you, PJ, is a potential trip-em game. This team played spoiler last year to a bunch of teams, that being the Vanderbilt team and the Vanderbilt Commodores making it happen, PJ. And their head coach at Vanderbilt just so happens to be a guy who came through Syracuse in his time en route to being the Vanderbilt head coach, and that being Mr. Clark Lee, who was the linebackers coach at Syracuse under Scott Schaefer, who's a very good friend of mine. So I ask you this question. Does the unranked Vanderbilt team find a way to upend another person I know in quarterback of South Carolina, Lenora Sellers, and the 11th ranked team under Shane Beamer, Frank's son? So does South Carolina keep on winning at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time on the SEC network, or does this game go to the Vanderbilt team that loves to play spoiler?
Lenora Sellers. That's all I got to say. I think that South Carolina is really going to be, again, another team that Florida has to play. And South Carolina is good. And this kid has got some potential to be a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yes, sir.
He's certainly got the size to play pro. He hasn't gelled yet, sort of like, but I really like South Carolina.
I'm right there with you. I agree on the Heisman, and I agree on the NFL. South Carolina, as they say in the song, South Carolina, come on and raise up, take your shirt off, spin it around your head like a helicopter. I'm going with South Carolina to win this game as well. So that is what it looks like for college football week 3 for PJ and I. Those are the picks that we are making. We'll take a step aside. We'll come back to wrap up today's show with our NFL review of our picks that we had in week 1, as well as making our picks for week 2. And then PJ and I get to woof about, by far, one of the dumbest moves that Jacksonville has made in recent history. We'll be back on Wake Up Call right after this inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce, We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin on milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing, an amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Proud to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And thank you for being here on the show with us, where sports meets that thing called life. Cannot thank you enough for being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. PJ and I are here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, for sales and service. See them Monday through Saturday, and you can go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com to get a sneak peek of everything that is there, including the 2025 Honda CR-V that is my baby. So you can go and see that as well. PJ and I, it's time to jump into the NFL, and week 1 is in. It is done. So let's see how we did here. PJ and I we're going to go all the way through our Thursday night football, the first game of the season, which was Dallas at Philadelphia. And then after that, we'll go into the matchup all the way to Monday nights, and then we'll get into week 2 and let you know what we're thinking for week 2. So let's go back to week 1 here and see how we did. PJ and I beat with Philadelphia, upending the Cowboys. We both picked Philadelphia, so we got that correct. Then the game in Sao Paulo, Brazil for the second year in a row. Kansas City in this game lost in a divisional matchup in the AFC West to Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh. So that game, we did it at the same time. We didn't even plan that. I love it. So the next game that we have up here, Tampa defeated Atlanta. We got that one right, hot Atlanta. So that one goes to Tampa. We picked Cincinnati to defeat the Browns, which they did. I told you that those games between Cincinnati and Cleveland in the AFC North, it's either going to be a low-scoring close game or a high-scoring close game. They're either going to play where they played in those teens, in that low point, right? Or they're going to play in the 30s, but they keep these games close, and they did. 17-16 Cleveland. The next game that we had up here, PJ and I thought Miami was going to do something. They did a whole lot of nothing against Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. They lost 33-8 in that matchup. That game was gross on one side. Beautiful for Daniel Jones in his debut to get some respect on his name. The Las Vegas Raiders. They won this game at New England 20-13. So we got that one wrong in the debut of Mike Vrabel being the head coach of the New England Patriots. He does not get the victory in that one. Then we have the New Orleans game against Arizona. Arizona defeats New Orleans on the road 20-13. So PJ got that wrong. I got that one correct. Pittsburgh in the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, they win in a wonderful game there for the fans. That was a big-time game to watch. 34-32. He looks like vintage Aaron Rodgers. I predicted that he is going to have a very good season that's going to make Jets fans very upset, but Steelers fans very excited. And NFL fans are going to say, oh my goodness, Aaron Rodgers, look at this guy. He's doing it again. And I think he's going to do it in this season. He definitely had a nice start off to that prediction by winning 34-32. The Washington Commanders going up against the New York Giants get the victory. So PJ and I got that right. Jacksonville handles Carolina without an issue in their first game of the season and first game at home. So they got that correct. Then the Denver Broncos come back under Bobo Nix, that PJ and I have spoken very highly of. PJ gets credit for doing it first, and him and I have both spoken very well of Bo Nix and predicted he would be 13th overall to the Denver Broncos, and he was exactly that, and he's doing a good job. San Francisco squeaked one out against the 12th man in Seattle, so we both got that one right. Detroit did not play well on the road at Green Bay, and they had a game that was atypical of them under Dan Campbell. They lost 27-13. Then the Rams taking on the Houston Texans. We got that one correct, is the Rams come through with a win. And then PJ picked Buffalo. I picked Baltimore. 1 point of separation there. PJ gets it right. And then PJ picked Minnesota. I picked Chicago. J.J. McCarthy came back and let you know who he is in his debut after being out last season, his rookie season, due to injury. So technically, this is his rookie season in a way. So PJ, in these 16 games, he got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So PJ in 16 went 11-5, and I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I go 10-6. Not a bad way to start off things here, PJ. Any notes, any thoughts on NFL Week 1?
No, I suppose we're going to talk about the Jaguars, though. I mean, what they did. They look good. Kind of scary when you got the two wideouts that Jacksonville has and can get in sync with Trevor. But the thing that bothered me was that, and I alerted you of this, is that they traded Tank Bigsby to, I think it was Pittsburgh, wasn't it? Or Philly?
Philly.
Yeah, and I looked at it again. I said, this can't be right. So I went and looked at it again. Then I searched another article, and the article said the same thing. I said, how can they trade this kid? I said, he's a perfect back for Etienne. There's a third back that they got that was getting carries too. I guess they're going to give it to him. I don't know anything about that guy, but I do know that Tank is a tank. I mean, Tank did it all last year. How could they do that? I mean, he catches the ball in the backfield. He runs between the tackles. He's hard to bring down. He's a I don't know, Daniel. Maybe there's something going on that we don't know, but strictly from a pure football standpoint, this didn't make any sense.
No, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. You got Travis Etienne Jr., who has not been extended. He's still in his rookie contract. A couple years ago, they picked up the option on him and Trevor Lawrence, which a team has in the rookie contract to go from 4 years to 5. He's in his 5th year. However, he's only played 4 because he was injured in his rookie season. And he's played well, but they haven't extended him, which made me believe that Travis Etienne is trade bait. He's a good player. You'll showcase him, and then you'll move him, and you'll get something for him. Instead, they do the switcheroo, and they move Tank Bigsby, who's been in the league less time. Now, I've been around them both, and Tank Bigsby, to me, is more of like the quiet, go-to-work, lunch pail guy. That's what he has been. Being in the locker room in Jacksonville and interviewing Tank Bigsby, he's just that guy that just wants to play ball, just wants to go do his job. I thought that he was going to be the future of Jacksonville. I thought Travis Etienne Jr. not having a contract for him within the last couple of years, that this was going to be the writings on the wall. Now you're in a position where you have to sign him. During the season, he can make this difficult on you because now Tank's not behind him. He's got 2 rookies behind him. So the people that are breathing down his neck, Tootin and Allen from Syracuse, Tootin from Virginia Tech, those are 2 rookies. The guy that could have breathed down his neck more with the experience is Tank Bigsby. Without that, now if you go to the table, to the negotiation table with Travis Etienne Jr., now you've given him more chips than you've given yourself. Now he can sit here and say to you, I'm the guy with the experience. I'm the guy with this. I'm the guy with that. I'm the guy that just got over 100 yards. You had my backup Tank. Now you don't have Tank. Now you got these 2 rookies. Now you need me more. I think they put themselves in a position where one of 2 things are going to happen. Either they're going to be in a negotiation situation with Travis Etienne Jr., where he is going to hold them over the barrel, or they're going to let him go too, and they're just going to lean on these 2 rookies. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because what made sense as to the moves that they had made or not made was that they were going to part ways with Etienne, keep Bigsby, and work out these rookies, Tootin and Allen, and see how this all shakes out. Now, keep in mind, LaQuint Allen Jr. is in a position where at Syracuse, he was not only a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher, but he also returned punts and kicks. And so he is in perfect position to take over maybe punt returns this week and see what he can do with that. If he's going to be there, because remember, Bigsby was doing some stuff. So if he's going to be there doing that, you've locked in that Allen's a running back and a special teams guy. You've locked in that Tootin can arguably do a bunch of things for you. So now the question becomes, is that enough? Or do you keep Etienne? Because if you keep Etienne, then you're in a place where you're going to have to spend a good amount of money on this guy, and it's not the same amount of money you would have spent on Tank. So I guess the confusion becomes, PJ, if you're willing to trade away Tank Bigsby, then wouldn't you have already extended Travis Etienne Jr.? And to go to all places, Philadelphia, that already has Saquon Barkley. And what did the Jaguars get for him? Something that they are obsessed with. 5th and 6th round picks. Can someone tell Jacksonville that there are picks that come in the 1st through 4th round that they could also go after? Because a guy like Tank Bigsby, who could be a starter or a 3rd down back or a goal line back for any team out there, Tank Bigsby is worth, I think he's worth a 2nd round pick, a 2nd and a 4th. But let's say you don't get a 2nd, you can get a 3rd and a 4th round pick for this guy. Jacksonville is obsessed with 5th and 6th round picks. When it comes to Calais Campbell, Christian Kirk, they got a 7th rounder. No matter where they're sending these guys, it's 5th and 6th round picks. You get rid of a guy who could have been your starting running back, who potentially was less drama than Travis Etienne has been at times, and you let him go and all you get is day 3 picks. I don't understand why to Philadelphia. I mean, in Philadelphia's sense, it's great, but I don't understand why send to Philadelphia. I don't understand how there's no market above a 5th and 6th round pick. And I absolutely don't understand why you would get rid of the lunch pail guy when you don't have the guy in front of him extended. There's a lot of things that don't make sense.
Exactly right. I don't get it either, but I said something else must be going on over there that we don't know about.
So we shall see what's going to happen here. But if I'm Tootin or I'm Allen, I'm feeling very good this morning about my chances of getting some playing time and some touches. Let's go into NFL Week 2. PJ and I are going to make our picks here to round out today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. PJ, I will defer to you as I always do, and we'll go down the line. Week 2, Thursday Night Football. Starting tonight, we have the Commanders at the Packers. Who do you got?
Well, I've been bashing Jordan Love the last couple of years, and I think he's turned my head around. I really think he's probably a lot better than I give him credit for. Certainly other people did. It just took me a long time to do that. I think I like the Packers.
PJ going with Green Bay. I think he's doing that because MT is within striking distance. So he's going with the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders in this game. I know Green Bay just beat Detroit at home, but I got a feeling in the pit of my stomach that if I lean on Green Bay, I'm gonna be thinking to myself, why'd I do that? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to lean on the side of the Washington Commanders in this matchup this week. The next one that we have coming up, PJ, will take us Jacksonville at Cincinnati, the 1 o'clock game with Jacksonville's first road game of the season. Both teams are 1-0. Who goes 2-0? Jacksonville at Cincinnati.
Well, the talk in the league is that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback around. Not Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, and they may be right. He's got everything working for him. He's got all his receivers. He's got everything fine, just the way he wants it, and he says he's good, so I believe him.
So PJ going with Cincinnati in this matchup. Going to go with Cincinnati to win the game with Jacksonville going on the road. I also have Cincinnati winning this matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If Jacksonville wins this game, it's going to turn some heads, but I think Cincinnati is going to do enough in this game to get the victory. The Giants at the Cowboys, PJ. The Giants didn't look good in Week 1. Dallas looked pretty darn good against the defending national champion Philadelphia Eagles. Who do you got?
I think the Cowboys win this one all right.
Plain and simple. PJ picking the Cowboys. I'm also going to be picking the Cowboys to win this game as they figure things out. People are coming out of Week 1 already asking Giants brass to choose Jackson Dart and put him in here already. I think you need to give it a little more time. I have Week 8 circled for Jackson Dart, but we'll see how it goes. If Russell Wilson goes 0-5, then obviously you got to make the move a little bit quicker. Chicago at Detroit, PJ, what do you have for this one? With both teams having lost in their first game of the season and both of them playing in division, they will stay in division. Who gets the first win in the NFC North for these two teams?
Detroit did make some good decisions in their last game. I'm a little surprised that Coach Dan had gambled when he shouldn't have. He should not have gambled when he should have. Either or, they could have won that game. But they're playing at home, and I think Chicago is going to be vastly overrated. Caleb Williams is probably going to be a good quarterback. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback, but I don't think in any event they don't beat Detroit at home.
Yeah, I got Detroit in a bounce-back week for them. Chicago played a close game against Minnesota, and like I said, I think Chicago is going to have a better season than maybe some people anticipate, but I'm going with the Detroit Lions to get this, which means Chicago will start 0-2. The Los Angeles Rams going to visit the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward in his second game after being the number 1 pick this year. What do you got?
I think he's going to be a good one. He'll probably be a good, serviceable quarterback, not a great one. But the Rams do have a Hall of Fame quarterback, and that's who I like.
Yeah, I'm going with Matthew Stafford. The Rams are starting off their season facing the AFC South. They took down the the Texans, who came to town on the West Coast. Now they're coming over to Tennessee, and I believe the Rams will get this victory as well and handle the Tennessee Titans in their second week here. The Rams somehow underrated, and I don't understand it. New England at Miami. New England under Drake May and now Mike Vrabel are set, I think, to do some good things this year. Miami has Tua, but they look like they had their third-string quarterback out there. They scored 8 points, like I said, in a 25-point loss on the road in Indianapolis. What do you have for this one, PJ?
Tua didn't look like himself. He was too jittery, wasn't making good throws, happy feet in the pocket, a mess. I don't like them winning this game, Daniel. Not at all.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close game. I really do. I think this is going to be maybe like a 17-13 type of game. I think New England's going to squeak it out on the road, and they're going to get this victory here. The first victory for Mike Vrabel in his return to New England. Next one we have up here, PJ, San Francisco at New Orleans. What do you have for this?
Well, it doesn't look like Brock Purdy is going to be playing for San Francisco. That really throws this game to a pick'em game. And they already lost George Kittle, tight end. And the news this morning was that Purdy can't play. I think they got back Mac Jones as a backup, who really is no snip. I mean, he played well for Jacksonville. New Orleans, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I don't have a good feeling for them. But I do like Mac Jones, and I like him in a situation where he's at. I think San Francisco wins this game on the road.
PJ going with San Fran. Maybe Christian McCaffrey will have to play quarterback again. We'll have to see here. But I'm going to go with – this is a really tough game for me to pick because it would be easy to pick New Orleans with the injuries happening with San Fran. But I think this game might be ugly, and it might beg the question, do they move on from Spencer Rattler? People might be calling for Tyler Shuck right out of the gate. We'll see here a couple weeks in. New Orleans, I still think that quarterback competition's open, but we shall see. I'm going with San Fran in the game. Buffalo at the New York Jets. The Jets put up 32, but they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Buffalo put up 41 and scored 3 times in the final 3 minutes and 56 seconds at home to defeat the Ravens. Who do you have?
People think this is going to be a good matchup. I don't. I think Buffalo is way too talented. I don't care what Justin Fields and his clowns do over there. I've never liked him as a quarterback as it is, but he certainly could be a good middle round quarterback. But he can't beat Buffalo at his best day.
I got the Buffalo Bills winning this game. Buffalo, again, this is a team that knows where they should be. This is a team that understands that they have gotten close, but they have not gotten the cigars in the Super Bowl, and they're trying to get there. So I'm going with Buffalo in this matchup, although it was nice to see the New York Jets offense moving well for once, and Justin Fields having a nice debut despite the loss. The next game is the team that beat them and the quarterback that took it to them. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be playing host to the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold comes into town to face off against Aaron Rodgers. What do you have for this one, PJ?
I think Pittsburgh rolls easy here.
Yeah, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers in this game as well. Like I said in my prediction coming into this, I just got a feeling that Aaron's going to have himself a season that's going to make some Jets fans say, why couldn't you have done that for us? I think Aaron Rodgers is going to do well. I think he's going to be strong, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to potentially find themselves in the postseason with Mr. Aaron Rodgers. And no offense to the Jets at all. I mean, Jets fans will tell you, it's our luck that something like this would happen. But it didn't work out with the New York Jets. I think it's going to work out with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to have himself a good season. But I also hope the Jets do as well under Justin Fields. You think it was a trade, but it wasn't. Pittsburgh got Aaron.
Daniel.
Go ahead.
There's one answer to all this rigmarole, what they're talking about. And the answer is Mike Tomlin. That's all people have got to say when it talks about the situation like this. Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin, a fantastic coach. He gets to decide where he goes, when he goes, how he goes, in my opinion. Anybody that wants to get rid of Mike Tomlin is insane, and 31 other franchises would be happy to take him, in my opinion, if I was a general manager. Cleveland at Baltimore, what do you got for this?
Baltimore rolls here.
Cleveland is the Cleveland team that came back in 1999. Baltimore is the old Cleveland Browns, and I think the old Browns beat the new Browns, and I got Baltimore as well getting this victory. Lamar Jackson and the crew are not going to be happy with how last week ended. They're going to take it out on a team in Cleveland that's still trying to figure things out, really, since they came back in 1999. Denver at Indianapolis. This is the Peyton Manning Bowl, PJ. What do you have for this?
Just a minute. Did you look at the Baltimore game? Did you watch it?
I watched some of it. I did. I did not watch it all live, but I did watch some of it.
Henry's running like he's 23 years old. And he busted through the line and broke off.
I told people there are some ageless people. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, when they were saying they're too old, they're 27, they're 30 years old, and they're not. They're not going to.
Goodness.
I mean, I think it's hysterical when people want to let go of running backs because they say after 2 or 3 years they're washed up. Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley are reminding the world of something that I have banged the drum about many, many times. Age should have nothing to do with the talent that these guys have. And what's the reality of reality is you had two stupid teams that were willing to let go of their guys and go find somebody else because a running back's a dime a dozen. Well, not when you're Saquon and not when you're Derrick Henry. Those guys are aging like fine wine, and I have nothing but the utmost respect. They are doing so well, and I thought that they would be successful, but these dudes, keep in mind, PJ, one of them hit 2,000 yards last year, and one of them hit 2,000, I think, within the postseason. So last year, Saquon and Derrick Henry, the guys that were quote-unquote too old to play football anymore, were 2,000-yard rushers, both of them, last year. Crazy.
All right, what game are we talking about?
The Peyton Manning Bowl, Denver at Indianapolis.
Oh, Denver, Indiana. Oh, I like Denver here.
Yeah, Indianapolis. Listen, Daniel Jones, he did some good things this past week, and I mean, he had a big time game. The team had a big time game, but I think the Denver Broncos under Bo Nix, who PJ and I have both said many positive things about for over a year now. I said that Bo Nix would have the second best season for a 2024 rookie quarterback, behind only Jaden Daniels. That prediction was made before Bo Nix was named the starter. That prediction was made before, I think, even the preseason happened. And so I picked Jaden, then Bo, and I believe that they made me right. Jaden had the best season for rookie quarterbacks in 2024, and Bo had the second best. They both made the postseason, and Bo Nix with this Denver team, man, he is good. He'd make any coach look good. And I got Bo Nix winning this game. Carolina at Arizona. Thoughts on this one, PJ? Arizona's 1-0. Carolina's 0-1. What are your thoughts?
This is going to be a terrible game. I don't like either one of these teams, but I think that Arizona being at home, I think, is logical here.
Can I tell you who wins in this game, PJ?
Sure.
The fans, because the tickets are $35. So, let's go, fans. And keep in mind, if you come to the Syracuse game instead of going to the Arizona Cardinals game, those tickets are as low as $35 for Carolina at Arizona. If you come to the Syracuse game, you can get 10 tickets for the price of one ticket to Arizona because you get $3 tickets to the Dome. So you could send 10 people to the Dome or one person at Phoenix, Arizona, or Glendale, Arizona. So I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals as well, PJ, at home to win this game over Carolina. They say that Carolina's gotten better. Hopefully they have, but it'll be yet to be seen, as I think they'll lose to Arizona. Philadelphia at Kansas City. The replay of last year's Super Bowl has got us at Kansas City Stadium at Arrowhead, and this game is going to be the first game that Kansas City has at home this season after being out of the country in Brazil and losing in Week 1. Philadelphia squeaked it out, and Jalen Carter is eligible to play for this game. The NFL suspended him for a game, but because he never played a down in week 1 and was ejected, that counts as his suspension, and he will not get paid for that game against Dallas. Jalen Carter is back. Philadelphia will take on Kansas City in Missouri. What do you got?
This is the game everyone will be watching right here. This is the game of the week. Well, I'm exhausted. This is really, really hard. I mean, the Eagles are the Eagles, and they don't change. Jalen Hurts just runs the show like a bus driver. But I think the Chiefs wake up here a little bit, and I think that this is a game where I think Patrick Mahomes has got to reassert himself, and I think he'll do that here.
Give me them Eagles. I think they get the win on the road, and they remind Kansas City that they have not gone anywhere. I'm going with Philadelphia to get the win in a hard-fought matchup between the two that I think comes down to a field goal. Couple games left here, or just a few. Atlanta at Minnesota is Sunday Night Football. PJ, what do you got?
Boy, the JJ show rolled on last week. Oh, my goodness. What a great debut for that kid. Jeez. I mean, he actually was talking junk. He'd look in this in the huddle and say, hey, trust me, follow me. We got this. And damn if he didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's why I like him.
And Minnesota going up against Atlanta. This is two young quarterbacks, both drafted last year, that I think are going to be good for both of their franchises respectively. However, I think Minnesota does get this win at home. I do agree with you, PJ. And we have two games on Monday Night Football, and those two games in the doubleheader, we're going to start with the Monday Night Football game that will take us to Houston, Texas. Tampa at Houston. What do you got?
This is going to be a good game too. I don't know if Baker can play up to C.J. Stroud, but I think Texas being home with him playing better than he did last week. I think Texas wins this game.
Yeah, so PJ going with Houston. Tampa on the road. We know that Baker likes to play well on the road, and I mean, this is a really tough one for me. I'm going to pick Houston, but I will not be surprised if Tampa gets the victory. And then the last one we have doesn't start until 10 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN. The Chargers and the Raiders. What do you got, PJ?
The Boomer is still alive.
That's right.
Bobby Hibbett's the man. I like the Chargers a lot in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chargers as well in this matchup to pull off the victory, and that's our Week 2 picks for this week on Wake Up Call. And so that's what it looks like, PJ, as we have this. PJ is going to go with the Chargers. I'm also going to go with the Chargers to get this victory. And so that's our board. And so, PJ, as always, I cannot thank you enough for the work that you do and all of those notebooks that you have spent time writing in. So we're going to go ahead and save this board so that we have it, and we'll take a look at it for next week. And we'll take one more look at PJ here on the screen and thank him for all he does. So, PJ, any final note before you go?
No, I got a busy afternoon and week planned here with the kids, and Mary's got me doing a bunch of stuff, so I'll be working.
Well, go do what you got to do, but we appreciate you as always, and I love you all.
All right, bye-bye.
See you. That coming from Papa Joe. We'll take a step aside for a fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is Wake Up Call.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K, the number 9, KAMP, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. They are your one-stop sports card and trading card shop, and you will find them open for you Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Head over to GG Cards and Breaks for hockey, soccer, basketball, baseball, UFC, AEW, football, and more while supplies last. They have singles, they have packs, they have boxes, graded cards, potential one-of-ones, autograph cards, relic cards, and so much more, including Disney Lorcana, Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, One Piece, Pokemon, and all the supplies you need to take care of your cards. There are so many wonderful things at GG Cards and Breaks, but beyond it all, when you put it all together, it allows us all to stay big kids. No matter how old we get, no matter what life throws at us, we can always be a big kid and go in there and celebrate having that kid spirit at GG Cards and Breaks. Thank you for all you do, Josh, Anthony, and the team. We appreciate you. On 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Many thanks to Chick-fil-A DeWitt on the corner of Bridge and Erie. You cannot miss them. They are that place that is that giant brick building that is right on the corner of Bridge and Erie. They have their double drive-through, and they have been open for a little over a month now. Make sure you go over to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Show them some love to Megan Sorber and her team. They worked tirelessly to make sure that they could be open for you to be here, and perfect timing as we head into the fall and we head into everybody going back to school and football being front and center in the high school world, in the collegiate world. It was a perfect timing to have Chick-fil-A right there in the hustle and bustle of Bridge Street and Erie over in DeWitt. Go and visit them today. Let them know that DT sent you, and we appreciate them for all the work that they do. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios today and every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond that. Of course, here on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, they hop into the archives, and we'll be adding to these archives. We've already added to them this week. You could check it out on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, YouTube, and more. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure to bookmark it, save it, follow it, subscribe to it, so that you'll never miss an addition to our archives again. And many thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek in both Cazenovia on 33 Rippleton Road out in the country in Cazenovia, New York. And, of course, where we're going to be at the Syracuse Inner Harbor this Friday, September 12th at 5 p.m. for our Wake Up Call Game Day pregame. Isaac Elford and myself in the Inner Harbor at Myers Creek on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Bryan's Landing, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Avicoli's, Game Point Sports Complex that is right by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Campground Dog Boarding, just there nestled in East Syracuse off of Bridge Street. And you'll find them on 211 South Center Street in East Syracuse, the place to go. Whether it's just you to shoot around or to practice your volleyball skills or play pickleball with a friend, or if you got a tournament or a league going on, go to GamePointSports-SYR.com to schedule some time today. Thanks to Chick-fil-A DeWitt. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. You'll find the Bobcats in what we call the Bobcat Buzz every single month with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. All you have to do is go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday at Bearcat Time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. With student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining me throughout the year, the Binghamton University Bearcats are on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist of over 100 broadcasts. You'll also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You will find the Lasers every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and what we call the Laser Lounge, with the next episode coming up Wednesday, September 17th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. The Laser Lounge is our coverage of OCC's student athletes, coaches, and administration. You will find them by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the OCC Lasers playlist. They're also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and you'll find OCC underneath the exclusive partners tab on wakeupcalldt.com as well. For more information, go to onondaga.lasers.com and go Lasers. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank Papa Joe for joining me every Thursday. I want to thank you for joining me today, and I would be remiss if I didn't spend the end of this broadcast knowing exactly what today is. Today is September 11th. In 2001, I was a junior in high school at Christian Brothers Academy. I remember that day vividly. I know a lot of us do. So as I sit here today, I would like to say a prayer with each and every single one of you. Whatever you believe in, whatever is your whatever, I want to say a prayer with you. So will you say a prayer with me? In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, I ask you to come into our hearts, our minds, our bodies, and our souls today. Help all of us, every element of us, every piece of us, serve you and be kind and good to each other and to ourselves. We said we would never forget what 9/11 felt like, yet it feels like most of us have forgotten. We have been divided by race, creed, nationality, money, religion, so on and so forth. There have been so many things that have divided us in this country and in this world. We know that division is a way for someone to conquer. We know that division is only a tool for control. So may we wisen up, smarten up, and use our common sense to know that what is dividing us is not of you, that what is dividing us is not healthy, and it is not good. If we look different, sound different, act different, that doesn't mean that we're not from the same family. Remind us that we all have a seat at your table, God, and that you want all of your children to eat together, laugh together, and pray together. So may we today be together, and always and forever be together. May we love each other, be kind to each other, respect each other, and may disagreements not become violent, hateful, or damning. May we be able to have our opinion and be open to learning from others. May we always seek to gain knowledge and wisdom in conversations, not to just be right. May we seek to grow and learn and evolve together. May we seek to move forward together. May we seek to understand together. Common sense is undefeated. Logic and rationale is undefeated. Show us the way. May the brainwashing stop. May the division stop. And may we just take a deep breath. And have faith in you. Trust in you. You have never, ever been hateful. You are perfect. You are the only thing that is. So may we look to you, not to man, not to this, not to that, not to whatever. May we look to you. Guide us toward you. Guard us from all that is not you. Though the devil is alive and well, may he have no more power, and may he lose every bit of power that he has. Every soul that he has, may it return to you, living and passed away. And may your will be above our want at all times. Lead us to you. Show us the way. As Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. May we remember that there is only one way to go, your way. Only one truth, your truth. And only one life, the life that was given up for us so that we may live. May we be better today than we were yesterday. May we be good to each other and good to ourselves. May we practice kindness, generosity. May we never seek an eye for an eye. May we stop hurting each other. And may we show you, Lord, that it was not a mistake to make us, and that the comeback is so much greater than the setback. May we, as humanity, find our way back to you. In Jesus' most precious name we pray. I love you, God. Don't give up on us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. One life lost is too many. Know that. Remember that. I love you all. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say God bless. No stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon.